Welcome, guys, to Talkin Story with Maitreya and Komplete. And today's topic that we will be discussing is what to do when your world is shaken up and you got to make a choice, which is something that we felt was really pertinent to share today because of just what we've been noticing both in our personal lives and with what everyone appears to be experiencing is, these internal conflicts or situations that's really presenting itself as a challenge. And so before we dive into that conversation, Komplete and I will be doing a short meditation to welcome you into the space.
Just taking my shoes off.
So I ask you to take a deep breath and just bring your awareness to wherever you are right now, whether you're standing, sitting, lying down somewhere. Bring your awareness to your body, all the subtle sensations that you feel from the surfaces that are touching your legs, your feet, and bring your awareness gently to your feet. Notice the sensations of energy, circulation, life force flowing within you, rising up through the feet, up through the calves, up through the thighs, your buttocks, your lower back, all the way through the spine, going into the heart. Just stay present in the heart here for a moment. Imagine this glowing ball of light expanding. It's the center of your life. It's the center which pumps through your whole body, not just blood circulation, but it's literally your life force energy. The heart is continuously working for you to give you life throughout all parts of your body. Imagine this energy now flowing from your chest area, through the shoulders, through your arms, through your forearms, to your hands and fingers, coming all the way back to the chest, moving up through the throat, up to your forehead, all the way through to your crown. And then imagine light flowing through from the literal universe that you see up in the night sky. Imagine this light connecting you to that universe through your crown, all the way down your spine, through your torso, through your root, right at the base of your spine, right down to the ground. Take a deep breath. And welcome to the space. So, yeah, today's topic, it's been a challenging few days for a lot of people. I've been noticing what's been happening all around the world. There's a lot of conflict. I know that there are things that are happening in the Middle East. There's the obvious pandemic here in Australia. In the southern states, we are experiencing another lockdown. And so when things happen that we don't expect, these become present in our day-to-day life. It might not appear that way, something that's happening maybe on the other side of the world, but everything's connected because we are one with everything. We are connected to everything. Quite literally, this is the case. Whatever is happening in the world is definitely going to affect your day-to-day life. So what that actually means is we have the power to take that on as an opportunity to be a leader for ourselves in our situations, and also know that whatever we're doing in our present circumstances is also being a stand for things that are happening in the world as well, energetically. So there's a lot of things that are happening right now. There's another thing that I'd like to touch on, and that's this notion of Mercury retrograde, which is another astrological term, where there's some kind of planetary alignment that is causing an energetic, gravitational, or I'm not sure what the quantum mechanics of how that actually works is, but there is some force that is affecting the energy, the frequency of how people are behaving and receiving information through their brains, and how they're reacting to whatever is going on. So there's a lot going on at the moment, and I invite everyone to just sit with all of that. One of the things that I've been doing myself, I have been feeling overwhelming an overwhelming sense of chaos in my mind. And I was mentioning this to you, Complete, that, it almost feels like I'm being ripped apart, and I've trained my mind to understand that even those experiences are happening, that they're just happening, and I'm watching them as they're happening, and remembering that it's not going to last forever. I just need to sail through this storm. And the truth is, nothing lasts forever. Whatever challenges might be present in the moment, know that they don't last forever. So the question that I pose to everyone is, how gracefully can you mitigate that storm? Because sometimes we don't. Sometimes we react really poorly to certain circumstances, and that's okay. But how gracefully, how lovingly can we, and how authentically can we navigate through these challenges? Yeah. What are your thoughts, Complete, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. Again, we're talking about the vibrations of the world and what's going on. And as you said, and we had this discussion of that feeling of being ripped apart, or the a strange energy. And I felt the same way. I think it was yesterday, where a kind of panic came over me, and I almost went with it. In that moment, I went with it. But then I remembered my power, as we talked about last week. I remembered my power, and I questioned what was going on for me, and it was a matter of security, because security of not knowing what's actually happening. Different bits of news has been filtering through, and we actually don't know what is actually going on, because we're not in control of that external. And so as human beings, we're picking up on that energy. And I felt that, again, the retrograde, we're talking about that energy that's coming through, and I'm feeling at this time and this moment that it's something that's come to shake us up, something to shake up our thoughts, our feelings. It's going through our whole, core, our essence. And
Right.
So what I'm feeling is it's come to a time of maybe an ending or a new beginning.
Yes,
Make
yes.
decisions.
Yeah.
Make it, yeah. What I'm feeling is making decisions with regards to going forward. Even though I don't want to be looking so far into the future, it is this feeling of, okay, the next step.
Yes, I definitely feel that too. Yeah.
What's it going to be? And am I going to be pulled into that feeling of panic again? How am I going to, how am I going to respond in that moment? It's a deep one. It's a deep one, because as I was saying to you earlier, I was with family members, and we're all feeling this emotion.
Yes.
And we decided, well, okay, we're going to, just chill out, maybe have some prosecco, have some Black Forest Cato cake that my sister-in-law made, and
Black Forest, nice. Yeah.
with her special touch. And then I realized that, even though in the moment I was partaking of this kind of celebration and chillax zone, I was also taking on the feeling
Yeah.
of uncertainty, what's going to
Yeah.
happen next, the exchange in conversations, about the jab, what's going on in the
Yeah.
world, as you say,
Right.
and
Right.
we're discussing it, and we didn't have a solution, but I don't think it's our place to have a solution. It's like, how are we connecting with it? How are we, responding in that sense? And you're picking up on different people's energies in that space. And I realized that I took some of that on.
Yeah.
And it caused me a headache, as you know, a migraine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just taking stock, remembering who we are, how we want to show up in life.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with a client today, and they asked me, "How can I not get angry um, or respond in a less favorable way and stay calm and cool with regards to what's going on?" Because they felt strongly about something, one way or another. And I was saying, well, when we're having conversations and we don't know the true facts,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, why engage that conversation in the first place? Because we could be arguing a point that has no relevance because we don't have all the facts. And so some people might say, oh, you're just sitting on the fence. In actual fact, I'm protecting my peace, because I don't have the facts, because I don't know what's real, in this instance or in this moment,
Mm.
until evidence is produced or released. Do you know what I mean? So I'm responding in the way that I'm trusting my connection with Source, with the Most High, Creator,
Mm.
that it will be okay. It will be okay. It will unfold. All will be revealed. What's done in the dark will come to light.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. And it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that complete.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. I do feel that we are faced with a choice, uh, whichever way that looks like, and decisions have to be made, and maybe people are feeling conflicted. Um, I was on Clubhouse and I ventured into a conversation where people were concerned whether they should take the jab or not, and there's concern, about whether it's safe to do so, and so there is some kind of anxiety around that.
Mm.
And I also know that my personal life, in regards to relationships with family, um, I've had to, I started to realize certain things. So, things that I wasn't clear on in terms of the way that I'm showing up in those relationships. And uh, there's something that I wasn't seeing that has become pretty clear now. And it's like, oh, I actually have to make a choice in this situation. Um, so there's this notion of change that I'm sensing, um, which is actually a good thing, because we grow only through change. So whenever there's tumultuous situations, in the moment it's not great,
Mm.
but there's something amazing that's on the horizon. Um, And the thing about that is we don't know what that is either. Perhaps we don't want to know because it ruins the surprise. But the mind wants to know, wants to have security. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting, and I invite everyone to adopt this observer philosophy because when you're in that seat, it's just life becomes interesting. Like even though you're part of the play of life and you get caught up in all of these emotions, if you can really be strong in that observance and just notice that you're part of this but you're not the actual experience, you start to see things. You start to see parallels between everything, and you start to realize everything's connected, and it's actually quite a beautiful thing.
Funny you should say is as you say, seeing parallel in certain things. When we look at maybe feeling disconnected in the world, we can then look at where are we disconnected to ourselves, where are we disconnected in our personal relationships with people, disconnected by not having certain communications, not standing in our truth, not expressing ourselves, or maybe not allowing other people to express themselves. That we're becoming like the controlling factor in a situation, and blind, like putting on the blinkers. You don't want to see what's actually in front of you with regards to your own relationships or your relationship with yourself. What are we um what are we fearful of? What are we fearful of seeing? As you said, there's situations where we could be just on the brink of success, but because change is uncomfortable, yeah, we are not willing to go that step further to actually realize what could be in a life lesson or a celebration. And even if it's a life lesson, it's something where we're expanding in that moment. And I know
Yeah.
that I have sidestepped a lot in
Yeah.
certain things because either I don't want to make someone else feel uncomfortable, which then makes
Right.
me feel comfortable. So
Yeah.
it's like a bat and ball kind of thing with emotions and
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
And then when you do finally make that decision and you step forward and stand up, you think, oh my gosh, how long have I been doing this? This was the answer all along, the answer, and whatever I was supposed to see was right in front of me. As you were saying, you
Right.
start to see things, but
Yes. Yes.
we may be doing that, as I said, for fear of hurting someone else, or maybe for fear of not
Right.
forgetting.
People
Uh,
pleasing.
yeah, you
Yeah.
said people pleasing, and it. But then we make the excuse. We make the excuse of um, not standing in our truth because we don't want to be seen as the aggressive one, or
Right.
or becoming messy
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
causing pain,
Yeah.
when what might be needed in order to expand and change is that pain. So like when we're growing up, we get those growth pains. It's
Yeah.
inevitable. We have to, the wisdom tooth coming through, um the changes in our hormones is inevitable. It's a process that we have to go through in
Mm-hmm.
order to, you know, be a part of this world, to be the person, it's a human experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yes. So, I really would like to share this because this is something that's helped me. It's actually it's quite a deep insight into what I experience day to day. and it's this understanding of our thoughts and energy. And what I experience is that my thoughts affects the field around me. So I'll notice that whatever thoughts or feelings I'm having inside me becomes reflected in the conversations and situations that are occurring around me as well. And when I notice that, also knowing that I don't know, or that I just don't know, but there is some phenomenon that's taking place where I am actually my universe, and whatever I am feeling and thinking inside me is creating my reality. And so when these challenges arise, and it might be like a behavior or a reaction or whatever it might be that might be activating, I know that I have power to affect my environment as well. And what's really interesting about that is that sometimes you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to even do anything, because everything essentially starts from within. That's the starting point of everything. What I mean by that is whatever how we show up in the world, whatever we do, everything starts from inside. So if I come from a place of just being with whatever I'm feeling, and not internally making stories of what that means, but just sitting with that, holding that, and pouring love into that as much as I can, what then transpires is that not only do I witness a shift in whatever is happening around me, but quite literally, whenever I interact with a person or a situation, the energy that I'm emanating, it's coming from a place of just being, just holding, just loving, even the conflict. And it has an effect. It may not appear so because we can't understand, right? The mind cannot comprehend or try to even understand what that is, because we don't know. But I can say that there is an effect that does take place. And so, yeah, just bringing that back to the point that we have complete control. We actually do have control, command of our realities. And just like going to the gym and working out, or just building the fitness or the strength, it's the same thing. Just building that strength to navigate through the chaos that you might be feeling. Once you start to notice these synchronicities, these connections, it becomes easier to mitigate them, and life becomes a joy.
I'm going to share an experience with you.
Please.
I'm going to share an experience with you. So I'm just getting the bits and pieces that I received. So when I said to you, I felt a panic. Yeah, I got a phone call that reminded me that I didn't pay a really big bill that I hadn't,
Right.
And then when I realized I hadn't paid that big bill, there was other bills in that other sense that I hadn't paid. And I
Right.
realized that time was like merging. It was like I had lost my balance, or, my center, because, oh my gosh, we're already in June. So I started to act kind of irrational. Oh my gosh, doing this, doing that. And then I thought, what are you doing? You know, it's there. It's a bit late. It's normal. You know, it's normal human behavior. What's going on with life? Things are coming into play. You know. And then when I realized that, and I took a deep breath, and I sat down on my bed, and I was like, it is well, it is well. And then I was handed a parcel. Okay.
Wow.
I was handed a parcel by my partner that had arrived, and when I opened it, it had some gifts in it.
Uh-huh.
So it was like a tea bag that says "Be
Be
happy."
happy. Nice.
It was a essential oil blend, stronger. The protective. Oh, hang on, I can't see. Can you see the protective blend?
Right.
But most importantly,
I trust my inner wisdom.
and on the other side, I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
All right. As I go about my daily affairs, I listen to my own guidance. My intuition is always on my side. I trust it to be there at all times. I am safe. And I was just like, wow, the universe has got my back. The Most High has got
Absolutely.
my back. But
Yes.
it was handed to me at the point of when I let go and I released. Do you know what I mean? That
Right.
fear, anxiety, when I decided, you know who you are, you know you've got it under control. Everything will flow when I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
I am, when I am.
Yes. Yes.
So, in being in that state of I am, I got the confirmation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, you know, you just then you laugh and you say, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the panic about? What was it?
Yeah.
The emotion,
Yeah. Yeah.
the human experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's almost it. What I'm experiencing is this I am beingness.
Mm,
Uh, it doesn't. It's just being with yourself, with no expectation of what's going to happen in the future. Uh, what I'm finding is that there are just these little clues or these little circumstances or situations or little choices, decisions that I may not have even paid attention to, but I just did.
mm,
And it's just nudged me in the direction towards the thing that I actually want, that's going to give me that beingness that I'm experiencing. That beingness that I'm experiencing is freedom, is joy, it's just bliss,
mm.
it's love. It's that I have everything. I have everything that I need right now. And what actually happens is the universe shows you that that's what you are.
And then we can smile with it. We can, you know, it's like that euphoria. You know what I mean? That feeling of oneness, completeness, that love and light, that energy that is just so overwhelming, but overwhelming in a beautiful way. Like takes up your whole body, like just how you did the meditation, and we're pulling that energy and that feeling of trust and knowing through our whole body, and we connect. Yep.
Feel like I've been this week I've been put through the ringer. This is what it feels like to tapping into a past life where I was a warrior, and having to slay my demons. And yes,
Yeah. The big word is trust, I think, or I know, not think, I know. Trusting. trusting the love, trusting the connection, trusting the knowledge of self. So many people are seeking knowledge of self, and then because they don't know themselves, that's why they're being thrown off center, pulled from pillar to post.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's going through this as well. Like, it's not like that person, is good. Like, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're doing, everyone is experiencing the same thing.
Mm.
And that makes me feel makes me feel like I'm not alone in this. And I think this is what the world's done is, or the world that we live in, it's created this separation, for us to be competitive amongst each other, and this person's got that, or this person is better, and it's not the truth.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
When I ask clients, I've been doing a survey about, how am I doing with regards to the therapeutic coaching that I do, and the common answer that's come back is, I just want to feel peace. I want to feel calm. I want to feel safe. I want to um, be myself. I want to understand. And from that place, then they do feel connected, but connected with self first.
Mm. Yeah. So um, I feel called to to give some tools for people, um, which I feel will help everyone to be in this space of peace.
Mm.
Uh, and it's actually just training the brain, which is a tool that we get to use to be present and to observe, notice what's happening inside. And, one of the things that I battle with, and I mentioned slaying demons, it's um, it's whenever somebody pays credit to me, uh, or praises me, it's like my child, or this part of me wants to feel like that comment, or that whatever I'm receiving in that moment makes me feel more worthy, when that's actually not true. It's a blessing, um, but it's almost like if I receive this compliment, that makes me feel like, yeah, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, and uh, and it's okay to receive compliments uh, and praise, but um, it's actually more than okay. It's good, but but um,
Is it a but or an and?
it's an and, yeah, you're right. And yeah, 100%. Um, and uh, It's
Can I ask you?
also,
Can I ask you
yeah,
a question?
please. Yeah.
So, how are you when you receive those compliments? Yeah, and so yeah, it's makes you feel good, but inside of you, what is actually happening to you physically when you receive them? Rather than, I'm not talking about, oh, I'm feeling a big head or whatever. What is the sensation going through your body?
Uh, well, firstly, I think it depends on, whether the compliment is genuine. So it's the energy that's being expressed to me. But if it feels good, then um, yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and it actually makes me feel at ease to then not let it get to my head. And um, I should be mindful of what the choice of words here. Where's Greg? Uh, um, yeah,
I think
it's
Dave, he's not
this,
on.
this is really fascinating as well. Because I'll experience like you give me a compliment, and the feeling would be nourishing. But then, if a compliment is being given to me that isn't coming from um, an energy or a feeling that is nourishing, um, that then requires me to dig a little bit deeper into that part of myself that feels nourished by the compliment. uh, and I'm really being pedantic in analyzing that, actually. Yeah.
The reason why I asked you that question, so what I was feeling energetically was, so you said when I give you a compliment, yeah, so we are like soul family, we trust each other, and so it's coming from my heart. And what I was feeling is that when I give you a compliment, or we're talking about that, I feel like I'm giving you a hug. I feel like I'm supporting you, I'm holding you. Yeah. um and that's what I was picking up. So sometimes when we receive certain compliments, we're looking for that assurity of love, that um that safety and trust. Yeah. If it's coming from the place that you're saying you've got to dig a bit deeper, then that's when we're mistrusting, and our insecurities are coming in to play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so the inner child is maybe is seeking that love, but it's not sure if it's going to be real or true, maybe from previous experiences of, maybe, I'm not saying this is you, right, but maybe it was deceitfulness, or you uncovered something else. It wasn't forthcoming as in you saw it to be, or do you know what I mean? So
Yeah. So yeah, there's two things here that comes up for me as we speak about this. So insecurities is one, and subconscious is the other. Um, so insecurities, like I noticed in myself. Again, like I was on Clubhouse, um, in a room, and um, yeah, I noticed there were parts of me like that where I had to dig deeper to um, express what I was feeling in the moment, and there were responses, conversations, and there was a feeling of, feeling like what I want to describe what this feeling is for people to understand. Um, what insecurity feels like, in a sense. It's almost like I've built this, like I'm leaning on this thing that I've built on my personality, which gives me a sense of confidence, however it is that I'm showing up in my life. And whatever a person has said to me, or whatever I'm feeling in the interaction, is now making me feel like I've been told off, or I am unworthy, uh, or
Judged,
that,
judged.
or judged. Yeah, I still have to unpack that.
Mm.
Judged. Um, but yeah, there. Um, not so much. I won't say judge, although there may be an energy in that, um, that I'm experiencing. Uh, but it's like, so like the how I would describe it is like my ego got wounded. You know when you think you're right in doing something and somebody tells you no, that's not right, and it's like, ow, that hurts, because somebody has made me feel less. But it's not that the person has made me feel less. It's just that that person has spoken a truth to me that I haven't integrated in myself. Um,
Mm.
and the only way to grow, so this is what I found myself doing, is I would be like, yes, even though everything in me is like, I feel like shit. You basically put, like, I feel like you just basically put me down, right, and told me to just shut the f up. um, but even then, I you know I and there's so many subtleties to this, like, um, but yeah, like, how can I learn from this? How can I bow down to my ego, that, or to the experience that my ego is being wounded? Uh, and from that is expansion.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I wanted to speak into that because that's something that came up for me this week. And the second thing, that you were speaking into, is that subconscious, which we've spoken about on other, episodes.
Mm.
That there are these things that perhaps happen in childhood, or just behavioral patterns through familial, interactions, that, are still present there, but it's hard to see those things. Like,
Mm.
it's just deeply ingrained there, that, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of light to see that. And that's where it's really helpful to have a reflector, somebody who can be your mirror, that you trust,
Mm.
and, uh, can reflect that to you. And then the whole process becomes a lot easier. It doesn't have to be so difficult. It doesn't have to be so confronting, when a person can lovingly, yeah, just show you, that part of yourself that you're not seeing.
Yeah. And we don't hold on to it. We don't hold on to it forever. Do you know what I mean? It's like the realization that something is actually happening for you in that moment, and pointing out something that maybe you've thought you've dealt with, as we've spoken about before, and it shows up in a different guise, a different way. And also, what I've realized is that when we're experiencing a lesson, yeah, for ourselves, we're also giving the other person who's delivering the message a life lesson.
Yes.
Maybe they haven't spoken up, or haven't been able to um, express their opinion, and you in this instance have allowed them to do that. We don't know what's going on, so it really is about what do we accept as our truth in that moment? And also, as you said, receiving it as a gift and also a gift to the other person. When we look at
Yeah.
it that way, we can just like, that's the observer view. Like, okay, like the game of life, isn't it? It is a game of life. The
Mm.
interactions, the exchanges. We don't know what's going on in the other person's mind.
Yeah.
We're part of that lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an ongoing journey of
Mm.
learning and further growing. Um, yeah, I guess that's life, you know. It's
It is. I just
yeah,
think that we can beat ourselves up about it, as I constantly say. Yeah, it could beat ourselves up in the moment. You know,
yeah, yeah.
um, that movement was banging my head against a brick wall. I don't know if I shared this story. When I worked for a big American corporate, um, they were, and it was Concorde actually, when Concorde was still in flight.
All
So my
right.
I was I was booking
Forgot about
booking
Concord. Yeah,
yeah no,
yeah.
and I was busy and I wasn't paying attention and I didn't book them in first class. Okay. So they didn't say anything at the time, but when they came back from the business trip, they described how uncomfortable it was to me, not having their usual leg room and this usual service, and you know
Right.
that was standard. And they didn't sort of tell me off about it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like I felt really bad. And he said to me, "It's okay. I'm not going to I can't remember the words he used, but chastise you about it because I know you're hitting your own head against a brick wall." And I was thinking, how many times do we do that? We hit our own head against a brick wall, um, unnecessarily. Yeah, we've learnt the lesson, but I held on to that for weeks, thinking, "Oh my God, I made such a big mistake for that person." But the way they described it to me, they described their feeling and their emotions. They didn't kind of come at me like, "You did this wrong" or whatever. But it was such a beautiful lesson. So that
Mm.
was me hitting my head against a brick wall in that
So
moment.
so so would you say that we so the what I'm receiving from that is we can't possibly know what the circumstance or whatever a person is expressing to us or whatever a situation is presenting itself as, we can't possibly understand or know what that is.
Mm.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say I really so rested God rest his soul because he passed. He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about myself, about relationships, especially in that kind of high echelon of corporate working. And whereas I dealt with other executives lower than him who would throw their toys out of the pram and really behave in a less favorable way, I always went on the experience I had with him, how he would explain things, how we'd have a discussion. He, we were always on the kind of same level with regards to respect. Do you know what I mean? And he showed it he showed it in a way of gifting and words of affirmation and yeah.
Wow.
So I feel it's yeah. I never thought about it that way before, and I
Yeah,
feel like yeah.
yeah, like it's like whatever I'm feeling in a situation. This is actually pretty hilarious for me. uh like if I'm feeling an intense emotion in a conversation or in a situation, um, my mind thinks it knows what that means,
Mm,
right? But for all I know, the other person involved in that that situation, maybe thinking something completely different to what I'm thinking, but we're both experiencing the same intensity of energy. And that is the thing that I've had to learn about, or had to learn from. It's that, to let go of, even though this energy is trying to have a hold on me in some way, it doesn't mean anything. I can't possibly know what that means. And then what appears to occur from that is actually like another truth that reveals itself in that, of a greater understanding of what that actually meant. And even though I don't understand, I couldn't possibly understand what another person is thinking about that situation, we both have this mutual understanding, on some level, that this is what it is. That makes sense.
It does. But I was thinking about when we had the call earlier, when we were talking about power, and power could be either an invitation to someone, or coercive tongue twister. So we can try and coerce someone into doing something which then they're going to resist, but when we invite them in with the power, and what I wanted to, the thought has gone through my head now, what I was going to say. I was going to say the importance of realizing our power when we stand in our truth, we stand in our, being authentic, being integral to our thoughts, words, and deeds. Yeah,
Right.
we allow other people to be powerful, and as well. And so it's an even an even playing field. If you say, well, if I want to say that, yeah, an even playing field, as in that we're allowing. So when I am, you are, we are. That's my little saying. When I am, you are, we are, and when we are, everything can flow. And I'm noticing the time, because it's like this conversation is so deep. And I was thinking that, we last week we invited people to, anyone who listens, or the audience who listens to this in the future, to actually visit our priceless gifts, or to tap into our priceless gifts on Pono Quest. And I know that you're going to put the links into your socials. And thinking about power, and Dusty Star, our mentor and colleague and friend, our guide, I would like to invite everyone who listens to this conversation to kind of tap into his priceless gift of navigating relationships, working with the power dynamics and understanding it. And that his priceless gift is Take Care. And there's also other programs on there. The Journey to Personal Power.
Oh,
I know. It's like,
there's just there's so much goodness.
Right?
Yeah,
So much.
yeah. You
We could be
guys
here
got to get
forever
onto
talking.
that.
Yeah, we could be here forever talking about that. And then the power to personal vision, once you understand your personal power, and so on and so on. It's ever expanding. So again, I just thank you, my soul brother, for this beautiful, enlightening conversation. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you, and I love you, and I hope.
Thank you, Complete. Yeah. Receiving the hugs, and yeah. Yeah. Love, love, love. Love you, sister. And love you to everyone out there in Facebook world, online. And reach out if you're going through something. that's what we're all here to do, is to support each other. So love, 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 and thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time.